copy this down, say update. No, OBS disconnected. Is it still running? How could you, OBS? How dare you? Damn. So how much did we actually lose? Let's see. It said a minute ago. Completed. Well, it didn't show under completed. No, yeah, it's there. I doubt I'll be able to watch anything on it. Okay, 13 minutes. Only if these are different, then update them. Otherwise, stay what they are. So next, we want to do... Okay, so you just missed that much. That's not that bad. Why did OBS disconnect for? Stream health is good. OBS, you have explaining to do. It's happened a couple times. Anyway, so what I started doing was I came over to here and was adding in the code for this. So we added in this chunk of code here to handle the update bond command. We added then this chunk of code into we're now adding this chunk of code to do the update, handle the update bank bond function that we called up here. And then all we have to do here now is we just have to basically call this. Or not that, this one. If the bond exists, and else. So if bank bond does exist is false, okay, add. So if the bond ID doesn't exist yet in the bank, then add it. Else, that's interesting. So check if any bonds exist. So if not bank bonds.b do bonds exist bank ID. So checking to see if any bond exists. And then checking to see if that specific bond exists. Why are we doing it twice? If no bonds exist, then this won't exist. So all we have to really do is this if here. You don't need that other if. Same thing down here. On this one, so if it does not, so let's just change this up here to this. And then we don't need to add this here. So again, on this one, we're going to do the same thing, basically. We're going to see if the bond actually exists. I'll get rid of that. See if the bond exists, and if it doesn't, we're just going to add it. If it does, then we're going to update it. Again, just another level of protection against weirdness. Now up here, what we're going to say is, so if it doesn't exist, add it. And then we're going to say else if, or just else, I guess, really. So if it does exist, then we're just gonna update it. Actually, it is an else if. I was right. Else if. So we'll call this B add bond overwrites. So that's going to be the name of our the variable for our plugin command value. Plugin. Well, there'll be a command to change it, but also a parameter. It'll be one of those deals. So now what we need to do is we need to go up here and add that in. So I'll put it underneath this at param. So add bond over rights. So at desk, this setting will determine if add bond plugin command overwrites an existing bond permission record. The default will obviously be false. So we need to add a new there B. To add this here, we need to do a so. How do we change a string to a boolean? JavaScript. Okay, so if we just see if the value is true or false, and then out of that we basically like do a Fox if statement, and then we'll get the true or false value out of that. All right. So params grab our parameter name. Equals true. So it doesn't matter if it's true, it's true. If it's not true, it's false. Okay. So we got that now. Now we need to add a plugin command to actually modify that then. So else if command dot match, so bank space add overwrites and then we want a decimal, so it'll be either 1 or 0. Oh, you could say on or off too. How do we handle that on the class changer? Oh, just if it's on or off. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, we can just look at the command itself. Oh, because we're building out a string from it, so yeah. No need for regex on this one, because we don't actually need to pull anything out of it as a parameter, so we can just say if command equals bank add overwrites on. But here's the thing though, I'd like to just have one of these. So I'd like to be able to just have one for this, and then have it say on or off as a parameter. So yeah, we do need the dot match. Bank add overwrites So I just want to grab this really quick and go try it over in our regex here. I'm just going to say bank, add over rates on. I think that will catch anything on the end there. Yeah. We can actually also apply this back over to the char changer as well, class changer as well. So match, right. So call a function, toggle add overwrite. And then regexp dot $1 parameter. And then let's put it up here. Function D, or rather, we'll say command arg. I guess we'll call it. If command arg then b add overwrites equals true, else alright. There's our plugin command. So if the bond exists, we won't do anything to it unless this is also set to true on adding. And on updating, if the bond doesn't exist, we'll add it. Else we'll update it. So now, let's go ahead and open up the plugin here. So false, that's okay, good. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set up another, let's just copy me over to here. And I'm just going to take out a few of these. We'll change CD18. So we'll get rid of that too. And we'll get rid of the bank open. And we're just going to call this update bond. Now we're going to change the starting cost to $3,500 and the ending cost to $97.80. And we're also going to make it last for 15 hours instead of 18 here. Apply. Okay. So then we come back over here, since that's turned off, the one for the add for CD18 should not change those values back to what they are here. And if we turn that on, then it should do that. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's see, new, we want to set a self switch where I haven't done any work on this for a while, so I've kind of forgotten where things are at. No. Maybe it's just center set switch. Control switches. Oh, there it is. Control self switch. No. I want this one. Damn it. Okay. Set ADA on. And then copy event page, paste, and switch. Cancel self switch. A is on. And in this case, then what we're going to do is we're going to edit this to bank add overwrites. We're going to turn it on. And then we're going to verify that that works. Okay, let's go ahead and start a new game. Okay, first we're going to talk to me. Yay, we got a script error somewhere. Awesome. Unexpected identifier in 232. Online 232. Oh, instead of L I hit, instead of semicolon I put in an L. Yeah, I figured something like that happened. Okay. No, unexpected token. The semicolon was somewhere else. 94. Wait, what? How's that unexpected? Because why? So that closes that. This closes the if. That closes that. Else closes this. Bank ID information. This closes. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. We had too many braces. Okay. No errors. No loading errors, anyway. Okay. Get rid of that. Where else do we have any breakpoints? The restaurant mode. So we have our basic information here. I'll need to resize this command window, obviously. And the bank information window, too. I removed the stock stuff. So we're going to go ahead and buy a bond. We're going to buy CD18. Okay, now we're going to come over here to me, and yes. Update bond info is not a function. 291. Okay, so this one. So game banks update bond info. Oh, I didn't save RPG objects. Of course. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Now, buy bond, CD18. Alright, so, okay, the help text didn't change. I didn't change the help text, but here we have the 15 hours. Yes, that's cool. Okay. So now we have enabled the add overwrites. So if I come back over here to buy bond and look at CD18, we should have perfect. Awesome. It works. It works. Yes. Okay. And then if we save and the game to title and reload it, just because I like to make sure everything is still working properly. Go to sell bond. We still have our information. Good. Or we don't turn it on or off again from there. That's fine. Because it's still on that same page, so we just turn the option off again. So that's awesome. Okay. So that's working now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code here and see if there's anything we can do to kind of help in refactoring this stuff. We don't need that now. Let's see, bonds. Initialize members, create bond, set bond ID, set name, cost, and value. Get those things. Bank, bond, bank bonds, bank ID, bond ID. That's fine. Data manager, that's fine. need those anymore. Actually, we can remove one space. Actually, I'd like to do 2 spaces between sections here. These are specifically different sections, so 2 spaces is fine. So game interpreter and resulting functions for those, that's fine. So, and create bank record. So, if game bank exists, parse int ID. Check if interest to make it 0. If not, insert param. And if param is not. So, the interest is 0, but the interest amount that we are passing through here isn't. Then we update that. Next, we check. We get the bank. Okay, this is all underneath if it's exists. So then we get the bank ID. We wouldn't need the bank ID though, because we have it here. Oh, never mind. We're getting the bank. Stupid. We're getting the bank, setting it to bank. Bank ID. We're parsing the parameter to bank ID. Parsing into an int. Calculating the interest. Getting date now. Time difference. Checking the time difference. Else add the bank and then do the same thing. But we're not doing this because we just created it, so we're not going to have anything in there to modify. Alright, create bond. So if GameBank's bank exists, is false, then add the bank. So if we are going through and are creating bank bonds before we open the bank the first time, make sure that the bank record is there so that we can modify it and keep the changes. Then if the bank bond exists, then doesn't exist, then we're adding it. If it does and add overwrites, we're updating it. Otherwise, we're not doing anything to it. And then update bank record. We're checking to see if it exists or not. If it doesn't, we're adding it, and if it does, then we're updating it. And then it's calling the update bank. Our update bank is when we're leaving to set the last access. I'm not sure why. I think before I was doing an update bank, I was putting all the update bank stuff up here, which maybe would probably be a good idea, because then we won't have all these kind of things where we're updating the bank down here. Game banks, get bank. Yeah, like this, for example. So we do any updates we need to do, and then we would reset the value of bank. But we want to do it only if we're not leaving. It'd be kind of stupid to do all this stuff when we're leaving. And then, so I think I have a game banks dot. I think it takes a bank ID and a bank record. Yeah, bank ID and a bank object rather, not record. So bank ID and bank. So we'll call it update bank from here. So anywhere we are updating the bank at, we need to change that and call this function instead. So bank equals deposit window get bank. Yes, there's update bank ID. Okay, so we're actually, that's interesting. Then, so we're updating game banks, and then we're getting it. I guess that works because in this case we are, well, this is how we should do it instead. Get the bank and then call update. And that way the bank will then update into the... Then when if you think about it that way, we're just like resetting it. So it's also passed through... Well, the bank is the bank. That's the current... whatever is currently in the bank. So if we're pulling updates from, say, the deposit window to update into the bank, we should pass it through here, I think, so as an argument. So let's do new bank. And then instead of doing that, we can just use new bank equals bank. And then so down here, it's kind of hokey, but we're going to pass through bank and basically update it on the one we just called down here. But on this one, we're going to pass through this. So then get rid of that. So we only have one call instead of the two we're doing. Same thing here. Update bank. Bank, or this and false. Game banks, add bond, game banks, not get bank. So, so so party loses gold, we're adding a bond to the current bank, so then now we need to do an update bank. And again, this time we're passing through just bank. Or no, because at this point, the bank in game banks is more up to date than what the current bank is, which is why we had the game banks call there. So instead, we're going to be doing game banks. We're going to be doing something really weird. Well, actually, no. What was there was fine, because this bank record's already been updated. We don't need to update it again. It's already had this added to it, so we just need to get the new bank information back into this bank variable. So that one's fine there. On selling, though, same thing, yeah. We're already updating the bank record through this function, the bond function. We just need to get the new bank values from the game banks object. So yeah, that works that way too. Okay, I think that's all the refactoring we have to do there, actually. Nice. Let's see. So in this thing here, what refactoring can we do? I don't think there's actually too much refactoring we can do, because this there's not a lot of repeat functionality, really. Oh, the other thing I did, I forgot to mention, I put in a new plugin command to set the value of the buttons here. So, not on this one, but on these. So, what you can do now is it's from the plugin commands. You have these values here. So this will set how much you add with the single arrow button, and this changes how much you add with the double arrow button. I'm thinking about creating a new button that has a third arrow on it, so that you can say 1,000, or go 1, 100, and 1,000, or 1, 10, 100, or whatever you want to do, whatever denominations you want to do. That's what that does. If you saw this earlier, we were wondering, what does that do? It allows you to set the amount that the buttons actually will represent. So, like, really quick here. I go in and the game. Let's jump in here. Go to deposit. You'll see these add or remove 10 or add or remove 100. Now let's say that I want to change that. Let's just say we want to have 1 in 1,000 for whatever reason. Let's just say that you want to have the precision of 1, but you also want to be able to add thousands if you need to. So we'll change that to 1, change this to 1,000. Okay. Apply, okay. And actually we also need to do the same thing for the button presses. Let's try to do that on withdrawal as well. So we go back in now, and now we'll have 1 and 1s and 1,000s. So that's what that does. I had completely forgotten that I added that till I saw it. I don't think that's... Well, I guess there's some... We can do a little bit of formatting, fixing. That'll reduce a few lines here or there, but I don't think there's too much overall we can really change. A lot of this is just basic stuff for related to each individual thing. I mean, like, I guess maybe on one withdrawal, maybe there's something we could do, but like for this, for example, we can make these one-liners, I suppose. We could do that, and that'll remove a few lines of code, but there's nothing like we can do really major in terms of refactoring that would drop the size of the file substantially. So that saves us a couple of lines twice. Just gotta do that up here too. I went a little bit too far. Or rather, we wanted to go down, not up. Yeah. Just that helps there, but these functions could all go to one line, I suppose, as well. So I guess that could help a bit, because there are a lot of one-line functions in this plugin. Because mainly what we're doing is we're taking existing functions from Windows Selectable and modifying them, overriding them for the plugin. So that helps quite a bit, actually. So somebody undo all that. I just want to see how many lines of code that actually saves. Looks like it's at least 20 or 30. That part we can keep. So 1672. Yeah, 1626. Oh, a lot more. Like 50. Just with those, and there's a bunch of other ones we can do as well. Okay, let's start from the top. Because right from the beginning, we got a couple of one-liners we could deal with here. Actually, I should probably make this a space as well. Just for formatting's sake. Overall, this thing wasn't as complicated as I thought it would be. And there's some complicated bits in it because there's some stuff I'd never worked with before, like the saving functionality. But overall, it's way, way less complicated than the class changer code-wise. Don't have any note tags, don't have to handle weird coding conditions. These ones I'll leave the way they are because those are pretty long function statements. But we can do this, I suppose. Oops. Killed the E. And more one-liners. That's fine. It's a little bit long, but we'll deal with it. Right, next one. Okay, that one has nothing in it, so we don't even need that. Anything commented out, you can just remove it because it's probably not needed since everything's working. I might usually one line these, but I don't think I will this time. And yet again another place on that does nothing. I'm not going to one-line that one because the rest of it isn't, and that would look kind of weird. Alright, so details, semicolon. Alright, we took out over 300 lines of code. Nice. No, one more actually. There's still a little bit more stuff to do, like going through and making sure that all this is consistent in terms of the spacing on the curly braces. But yeah, so that's the refactored version of the plugin, so to speak. Alright, so help. So, bank. So bank open, then bank ID, and the interest rate. So bank open, bank ID, bank. There's one other plugin command we want to add to change the denomination of time, right? We'll do that later on another stream. So what else? This will, so that's all you really need for that. Other plugin command features. It's really the rest of the commands are really just bond command. Well, not all of them, I guess. Well, no, yeah, they're all related to bonds. Adding and updating a bond, and then whether or not add bond will overwrite. So. So bank, add bond, bond info ID, bond name, bond cost, bond I think that's all of them. So, oh, the ID. So bond ID, the hour, no, that's still part of the name. So the bond ID, bond name, cost, matured value, mature time, and the, yeah. Above, plugin. Bank. Bond info ID for bond name. The name for the bond that will bond cost. How much it will cost the player. Nice. The buy bond window. Should do an example. bank 0 add bond. Bond ID 0. So this bond will mature after 10 hours. Gains, we'll say 20% interest. Example, creates a new bond information record for bank 0 with the specified values. So then, I just want to copy all this basically. Then call this update. So two updates and existing. I don't think we need this because it's all explained above. And then we need one more section here. And say, last command allows you to with the what's it called again? The add bond overwrites. So, that one was bank add overwrites. On or off. Yeah, on or anything else. All right. Anything which modifies create game objects damage or create game objects. And there's also some other functions. Make save contents, extract save contents. Okay. So save this. Okay, so we got our information in there now. Alright, that's gonna be it for today. At least for right now. I'll probably do some streaming later tonight as well. For that, it'll probably be for... I'll probably stream some games later tonight. And maybe do some more of this and maybe some work on GeoRO as well. But thanks for watching the stream. If you watched it live, if you're watching it on YouTube afterwards, leave your comments, questions below. And I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.